Hey, Hershey Bears fans, Zack Fisch, voice of the Bears with you here. Exciting news for the club. The Hershey Bears naming Todd Nelson the 28th head coach in franchise history. Brings an impressive resume. Spent some time as a player in Hershey as well. And Todd, it is a treat to have you here with us. An honor to have you as part of this historic franchise once again. Welcome back to Chocolatetown, USA. Take me through this process a little bit. When did you find out about the position and just how excited you are to come and join this historic franchise once again?
Well, first off, I'm extremely excited to come back to Hershey. As you mentioned, I played there for 1 year. I think it was 26 years ago. And I just understand the situation in Hershey with the fans, how passionate they are. They love their Hershey Bears. And I could be more proud to coach this hockey team this year. But the process, the way it went, it kind of developed late. And just with everything that was going on, there's so many coaching changes in the National Hockey League. Guys switching teams and that. And I reached out to Brian Helmer about a month and a half. I didn't really have anything going on. I worked the last 4 years in Dallas. We did not renew all the coaches' contracts there. So I was looking for something. And I just picked his brain and said, hey, if you hear of anything in the American League, please let me know. He called back the next morning. He goes, well, I might have something for you. He goes, well, we just don't know what's happening yet with Washington. So when Scotty Allen got promoted to Washington Capitals, it opened the door for me to go through the process of the interviews, and things went well, and I couldn't be happier.
This organization obviously is a special one. We'll get to your credentials and resume as a coach in a minute, but you mentioned you played here for one season before heading out to Grand Rapids, where so much of pivotal moments of your career were spent. But take us through what you remember from your time here in Hershey, playing at the old barn with some great names, and just what you remember, obviously, about Chocolatetown, USA.
Well, that 1 year, it was, we had a pretty explosive hockey team. We had a really good power play. I was fortunate to play on it with Darren Rumble and Sean McCosh, Jimmy Montgomery, who hired me in Dallas. Three great hockey players, and we had Scott Morrow in front of the net. So the thing is that it was a lot of fun. My son was born in Harrisburg. So, Hershey's a great family town, even though he was too young to experience it all. But I just remember the people being fantastic and how close the community is. And I had a very good year that year. I had 50 points as a defenseman. It was my top performance as a defenseman. And so it was a special year. And so at the time, after that season was done, there was some confusion to see where I was going to be, because that's when the Phantoms came into the league. And there was some confusion between Hershey and the Philadelphia Phantoms where I was going to go. And it just ended up that opportunity came up with the Grand Rapids Griffins, and I ended up going there for the better part of 4 years.
When you look at your coaching career, a lot of championships under your belt. I've heard you as a guy that's extremely detail-oriented, you've been described, and has a huge drive to win. It's a balance at the American Hockey League level, especially this day and age, with development and winning. Take us through a little bit your philosophy as a coach, both on and off the ice, and how you get the best out of your players.
Well, I've mentioned this before. Coaching really falls into two categories: arts and science. And the science to me is all the technical stuff, X's and O's, just your style of play, how you want to dictate play. And then the arts, which is very important to me, is getting these guys in a family culture, family atmosphere, getting them to work hard for each other. And that's my job as a coach, and our coaching staff is to get the players in there to play hard for each other. And when you do that, your team becomes really close and you have success. So I believe the arts is really important. And in order to achieve that, I have to develop trust and respect within the locker room. And so I just show the players that I'm a person just like everybody else. I like to know about their personal life, how their wives doing, or families and girlfriends, and just trying to develop that trust. And I think that's the biggest thing. That's something that I got gifted to me for whatever reason. I'm just being myself, but that's what I've been told, and I'm very fortunate to have it.
When you look at the coaching staff that you've assembled here in Hershey, it's a pretty good group between Patrick Weller, who's already here and has the experience as a player and a coach as an assistant level in Hershey, and add a great name like Nick Bootland, as well as a new goaltending coach, a new video coach. You've been part of this process here in these last couple of weeks since you found out you're coming to Hershey. What do you like? First feelings about a new group, but an exciting group with your staff?
Well, it's a fresh group, as you mentioned, and I'm extremely excited. You know what? Besides all these people being highly qualified, there was one criteria that I was trying to nail down, and that was character and just how good the person is. Because you have to work around good people. You know, like it's a long season as it is. I can't have my team intact and close on the ice or close off the ice if the coaching staff is not intact. It starts with us. And so the thing is that I'm really looking forward to working with all these guys. I think we're going to complement each other very well, and I just can't wait to get started.
When you look at the fan base here in Hershey, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you coached here once when Grand Rapids came to town before you moved into the Dallas side of things and the new building here. Obviously, you're out west otherwise, but you know Hershey, you know the fan base, how rabid they were. It's just grown over the years. What excites you just about being on that bench and in such a good hockey environment like you were in previously in other stops like Grand Rapids?
Well, it's always fun to coach when the building's full. It really is. We went through that with the pandemic. It was a horrible feeling when you're in the bubble in the playoffs and Stanley Cup playoffs, and there was nobody in the building. It was just it was an odd atmosphere. But that being said, Hershey, you know, we want to put a good product on the ice because we owe it to the fans of Hershey, and they, you know, they'll come out and support us because of just who they are as people, and that's the most exciting thing. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to playing in this building. I coached there just once, so we'll have to wait and see.
Two more for you. You have some connections to Hershey, a couple players. Cale Kessie, you coached him in Oklahoma City, and then Dylan McElrath won a championship with him in Grand Rapids. But Brian Helmer, too, he called you and tipped you off that there might be an opening. You had a great relationship. He wore the C for you. Can you take us inside? Now you get to work with him in close quarters, obviously, with this club, but you can take us inside your relationship and your time together and some of the latter years of his career.
Well, just before I do that, I saw Amazon walking up to my door, so you might hear my dogs barking. so perfect timing, right?
Hopefully something good's coming then. Something to get all
it's
packed
not
up.
me doing all the shopping. I don't know, you know, it's either my wife or my future daughter-in-law. So, but anyways, yeah, so like there's connections to Hershey. I was just going through the website today, and I saw some more familiar faces. But like I coached Brian Helmer for 2 years in Oklahoma City. He was my captain for a year there. So obviously, you know, we have a good relationship. He came through Grand Rapids. I knew him through there as well. You talk about Cale Kessie. I had him in Oklahoma City as well. He was just a young guy back then. And Dylan McElrath, I had the chance to work with him in Grand Rapids where we ended up winning a Calder Cup. So there's some familiar guys there. Also up top, Nick Jensen and Anthony Matha, who I had in Grand Rapids. So it's kind of like a homecoming for me because I'll be able to work with Ole Kolzig, who we played together for a couple of years in Portland, won a championship there with Barry Trotz. I saw Jimmy Slater works with the organization. I coached him in Atlanta. So there's a lot of familiar people. And I guess when you get old like me, or start to get older, your paths cross with these players over time.
Well, we're excited to have you here in Chocolatetown, USA, once again as the 28th head coach in franchise history. I know you got a lot on your plate here coming up. You're going to be moving out here, taking the family and coming and checking out Hershey. We look forward to having you here behind the bench on October 15th. And congratulations again, Todd. Thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks, Zach. Really appreciate it.
New head coach Todd Nelson of your Hershey Bears. Looking forward to having him behind the bench this year. Chocolatetown, USA.